A very common question that we get, and often very misunderstood topic, is can I work and take Social Security at the same time? Followed by the questions of, if I do, will I be penalized? Are there deductions? And can I just do both, work and take Social Security? Well, in today's video, we're going to discuss the rules around working and collecting Social Security, what you need to know if you do have those deductions, if and when you'll get that money back. For those of you that are new to our YouTube channel, my name's Scott Sirens. I run a retirement planning firm where we help families and individuals, people just like you, understand how to make work optional by helping them understand when they can retire, how much they can spend in retirement, and then how to help minimize the taxes that they pay in retirement. If that's something you need help in, go to lifemoneyshow.com and click on the Work With Me tab. So can you work and collect Social Security? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very misunderstood topic. A lot of times people think the word penalty. Let's just kind of get rid of the word penalty right now. But could you have deductions? Well, the answer to that is yes, no, and maybe. And what I thought I'd do today is just walk you through an example where then you can substitute your information into the example to help you understand, based on where you're at, whether or not you can work and collect Social Security and whether or not you'll have deductions from your Social Security if you were to do so. So let's move forward here. Let's kind of talk about our example. Now, before we get into the example, there are some, I'll say, key points to understand as we go through all of this. First is the time frame that you're looking at. What period of time will you be working and collecting Social Security? That will have an impact on whether or not there's deductions. The wages that you're bringing in, the earnings limit. Now, this earnings limit could change from year to year to year. We're in 2023 as I'm recording this video, so we'll look at the 2023 earnings limit. However, again, if you're looking at this in future years, make sure you just go to the internet, look at the current earnings limit, and you can substitute that into our example here today. Then based on all of that, that will tell us whether or not you're going to have a deduction from Social Security. And as I mentioned at the end of today's video, we'll talk about what happens to those deductions and whether or not you get those back. All right, so let's just walk through a hypothetical example here. I'm gonna throw a name out. We're gonna use hypothetical Laura. So that way, as I'm going through, we can just use a name, talk through the example here. So we're right now in August of 2023. Let's just say our hypothetical person here, Laura, let's say her full retirement age is in October of 2024. So that's her full retirement age. Now, I want to use that to show you the different time frames that we need to be aware of when it comes to working and collecting Social Security. So we're going to put a big dot there because that's that starts kind of some of the different time frames. So one of the time frames is from the month that you turn full retirement age forward. One of the time frames is the year that you turn full retirement age. And then our last time frame is anything in the year prior to your full retirement age. Okay, so now we've got 3 time frames. That actually sets us up to understand whether or not you'll have deductions, how much those deductions could potentially be. So let's start in the first time frame. Let's just say you were to take Social Security early. You were to take it prior to the year that you're turning full retirement age. So let's just say we're taking Social Security in the year of 2023 in this example, which is the year prior to the year of full retirement age. Now, in our example here, let's talk in regards to, so Laura decides to take Social Security and she's still working. So can you do both? Yes, you can collect Social Security and you can work. Now, it's all going to be dependent on how much you have coming in wages to whether or not there will be then the deduction from your Social Security. So in this time frame here, and again, based on 2023 limits, the earnings limit in 2023 is $21,240. So let's just say Laura, again, she's collecting Social Security, and she's working. I'm going to keep the math really easy for us here today. Again, you can substitute in your numbers. You'll see how hopefully you can use this example to help you understand impacts to your Social Security. So let's say Laura's working and she has wage income of $31,240. So she's $10,000 over what they consider that, again, Social Security earnings limit. That earnings limit that's set by the IRS. And again, that could change each and every year. So I'm just going to put this one's right here, based on 2023. Again, update based on the year that you're looking at this. Okay, so we've got $31,240 of wage income, earnings limit of $21,240. What does that mean? Well, according to Social Security here, $1 of benefits is deducted for every $2 of earnings over the earnings limit here. $2 of earning, $1 deduction for every $2 of earnings over that earnings limit of $21,240. And let's just back up one thing really quick. A question that always comes up is, hey, wait. What counts as wages? What counts as income? Well, this could be W-2 income, could be self-employment income, could be commissions, could be vacation pay, could be bonuses. Now, what does not count as income could be IRA withdrawals, pensions, dividends, and capital gains. So hopefully that helps you what goes into the wage line item, what does not go into the wage line item. Okay, maybe I should have put that as income. I put wages because hopefully, kind of is a kind of a helpful, clear delineation between the two. Okay, so $1 deduction for every $2 made over that earnings limit. Well, let's just take and say, hey, that's $10,000, right? Over. Very easy. We divide that by 2, and now we've got a $5,000 deduction from Social Security. So what does that mean? In this example here, let's just say Laura was bringing in $30,000 of Social Security. Well, there'd be a $5,000 deduction from that $30,000 of Social Security, meaning she would only get $25,000 of Social Security. And again, we'll talk at the end what happens to that $5,000 deduction. Okay, so that's time frame number 1. Hopefully that helps you understand. Yes, you can collect Social Security, you can still work. However, if you're to make over that earnings limit, based on how much you go over, right now it's $1 deduction for every $2 over. So in our example here, $10,000 over, divide by 2, $5,000 deduction from your Social Security. Before we get into time frame number 2, today's video is just all about working and collecting Social Security and the deductions around that. Now, maybe you're wondering, when is the best time for you to collect Social Security? Well, we have a free guide in regards to the decisions around claiming Social Security. It's going to provide you actionable advice around the timing of your Social Security benefits, as well as ways to supplement your Social Security. The guide is to help you hopefully optimize your benefit by hundreds or thousands of dollars. You can get it in the description below. We'll include a link. Also, you can go to lifemoneyshow.com/Social Security to get the guide. Again, that's lifemoneyshow.com/Social Security. All right, let's talk about the second time frame to be aware of. Now, the second time frame is the year that you turn full retirement age. And it is only from January 1st to the end of the month prior to the month of your full retirement age. So in this example here, it would be January 1st, 2024 through the end of September of 2024. Now, if your full retirement age is July or June, again, substitute your full retirement age into the example, and it would be to the end of the month prior. I'll say same topics here that we need to go through. First off, what's the earnings limit? Now, the earnings limit in this time frame is $56,520. Again, that's a 2023 limit. Based on when you're watching the video, make sure you go to the internet, look up what the earnings limit is for that year. Now, earnings limit does, again, back to this. I really like to make this clear because I think it gets totally misunderstood. Earnings limit doesn't mean that you have to make only up to that amount, but then stop making money after that. It does not mean that. It just means if you were to make money over that there could be a deduction from your Social Security. So now in this time frame here, let's just say, for our example here, Laura switched jobs. Now she is collecting Social Security. She switched jobs, and now she's making $65,520. Yes, I like to keep my numbers really easy for our video here. What does that mean? That means she went $9,000 over the earnings limit. However, this time we're not dividing by 2. Theirs is a totally different time frame. And again, always check IRS rules. Now, in this time frame, there is a dollar deduction. $1 of benefits is deducted from your Social Security for every $3 of earnings over the $56,520. So again, simple math here. We're just able to divide by 3. What does that mean? Laura's deduction during this time frame would be $3,000. So let's say, again, she's making $30,000 in social. She's collecting her Social Security. She had $30,000 coming in. Well, instead of that $30,000, it would only be $27,000 because they would make that $3,000 deduction from her Social Security. So time frame 1, the year, any years prior to the year of your full retirement age. Time frame 2, the year of your full retirement age, from the beginning of the year to the end of the month prior to the month of your full retirement age. And as you can see here now, time frame number 3 is from your full retirement age on through the rest of life. And in this last time frame here, guess what? There are no earnings limits and there are no deductions. So what does that mean? Well, from your full retirement age going forward, you can work and collect as much wage income as you want. You can collect as much Social Security as you want, and there are no deductions from your Social Security. So if Laura here is still making $65,520 and she has $30,000 in Social Security coming in, well, she gets both, and she gets all of both, and there's no deductions from her Social Security based on how much she's making. And that starts from your full retirement age going forward. Now, one thing that you always have to consider in all of these different situations is taxes. Yes, you will potentially have to pay taxes. Of course, you have to pay taxes on your wage income. And then based on how much you have coming in, you may also have to pay taxes on your Social Security. All right, so with that, we've talked about the 3 different time frames. Hopefully you understand, yes, you can collect Social Security and work at the same time. There might be deductions though from your Social Security, and let's go there next. Let's talk about what happens to those deductions and whether or not you'll get them back. Real quick, before we start talking about the deductions and whether or not you'll get them back, I hope you're finding value in this video, and if so, and you'd like to see additional videos about Social Security, helping to minimize your taxes and retirement income, subscribe to our YouTube channel as we're coming out with new videos on topics just like those each and every week. All right, now the deductions. And I guess one thing before I get into that, I should have mentioned this earlier in case it was on your mind. In each of these time frames, let's say time frame 1, if your wage income was under the $21,240, or in time frame 2, if your wage income was under the $56,520, well, then you wouldn't have any deductions. So in those scenarios, right, when you make less than the earnings limit, there aren't any deductions from your Social Security. Now, let's just say you did go over and you have those deductions. The question on everybody's mind, will you get that money back? Well, the answer is yes, but not in one lump sum. You actually get it back through an increase in your benefits over your lifetime. And what happens is at your full retirement age, basically Social Security will reset your benefits. And here's how it works. And of course, you want to look up specifics to your situation, talk to your financial professional, but just an example kind of how it works. Let's say you took Social Security 60 months early. And based on that, and over those 60 months from when you started taking Social Security to your full retirement age, let's say all of those deductions, right? So in our scenario earlier, Laura had a $5,000 deduction. Let's say she had 5,000 deductions for years, and then she had maybe $3,000 deductions. Let's say all of those deductions added up to 10 months worth of benefits. So she filed 60 months earlier. All of those deductions, when they add them all up at your full retirement age, adds up to 10 months worth of benefits. Well, when they reset things at full retirement age, they're going to reset your payout based on collecting at 50 months early versus 60 months early. So they're taking that 60 months, all of those deductions, right, add up to 10 months. So instead of looking at it like you filed 60 months earlier, they're going to reset your benefit that you filed 50 months earlier, meaning your monthly payout will go out. Again, it's not going to come to you in a lump sum, but your monthly payout would go up throughout then the rest of your life. So instead of getting paid in a lump sum format, you're now going to get paid out an increased benefit, but throughout your life. So hopefully that helps you understand that the deductions just don't disappear. They don't go away. There is a reset at your full retirement age. Hey, like I mentioned earlier, if you're wondering then when is the best time for you to collect Social Security, well, we do have a free guide that can help you with those decisions. It's a free guide on the decisions of when to collect Social Security. You can go to lifemoneyshow.com/Social Security. Again, that's lifemoneyshow.com/Social Security. It's going to give you actionable advice around the decisions of claiming your benefit. It's going to help you understand additional ways to supplement your Social Security income, and hopefully it helps you increase and optimize your benefits by hundreds and thousands of dollars. lifemoneyshow.com/Social Security. Plus, you'll find a link in the description below. Hey, I look forward to our next conversation to help you enjoy life today and be financially confident about your retirement.